Hello and welcome, families, to a truly pivotal moment in our shared journey towards understanding the shifting sands of global power and the unwavering spirit of a continent rising. Today, we delve into a conversation that echoes with the drums of a new dawn for Africa, a voice that resonates with courage, vision, and an unyielding commitment to sovereignty. Our guest, a leader who has captured the hearts and hopes of many, is none other than the president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Before we immerse ourselves in the profound insights from this exclusive interview, a quick word to our incredible community. If you find value in these discussions, if you believe in the power of truth and the importance of independent voices, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement fuels our mission to bring you these critical perspectives. Thank you for being here, for clicking on this video, and for standing with us. Captain Traoré's presence in Russia was not merely a diplomatic formality, it was a powerful statement, a symbolic return to a shared history, as he attended the Grand May 9th Parade, commemorating the 80th anniversary of the monumental victory over Nazism. The atmosphere in Moscow was charged with historical significance, a palpable sense of triumph and remembrance. For Captain Traoré, this was far more than a mere celebration. It was a profound commemoration of the triumph of a new world. He spoke of learning a lot during this day, emphasizing that the event transcended a simple display of military might. His impressions of the parade itself were nothing short of awe-inspiring. He described it as perfect, a masterclass in military evolution. Witnessing the parade of vehicles that span decades, from the iconic T-34s, a symbol of wartime resilience, to the most modern machines in the Russian arsenal, offered a stark illustration of the technological advancements of the Russian army. This visual journey through military innovation was not just impressive, it was deeply inspiring. For Burkina Faso, a nation resolutely focused on its own development and security, it served as a powerful impetus, a call to action. It also inspires us to get to work so that we too can develop in the same direction, he affirmed, highlighting a clear aspiration for technological and industrial growth. He even noted his surprise at seeing the Okhrutnik, a new weapon in the Russian military arsenal, underscoring the cutting-edge nature of the display. The symbolism of his presence as an African head of state at such a ceremony cannot be overstated. Captain Traoré eloquently articulated the deep, often overlooked historical connection between Africa and the Soviet Union in the fight against Nazism. He reminded us that Africans and Soviet soldiers contributed greatly to freeing the world from Nazism. He pointed out that Russia alone lost 1 million soldiers on European soil, a staggering sacrifice. But he was equally emphatic about Africa's indispensable contribution. Our ancestors fought hard on the European front, mainly in France, Belgium, and Italy, to free the world from Nazism. This, he asserted, is a shared history that we have, a narrative that must be acknowledged and celebrated. His presence was a powerful affirmation of this shared legacy, a reclamation of African agency in a global struggle. The initial diplomatic interactions, though brief, set a remarkably positive tone for future cooperation. Captain Traoré described his meetings with the Russian president as very courteous, friendly, and brotherly. These words painted a picture of mutual respect and genuine warmth, a stark contrast to the often strained or paternalistic relationships Africa has experienced with other global powers. That's all we ask for, really, when it comes to new cooperation in today's world, he stated, signaling a clear preference for partnerships built on equality and mutual benefit. This initial warmth laid the groundwork for the deeper discussions that would follow, promising a new chapter in bilateral relations. Following the profound initial exchanges and the powerful symbolism of the Victory Day Parade, the conversation with Captain Ibrahim Traoré naturally transitioned to the tangible substance of the burgeoning relationship between Burkina Faso and Russia. It quickly became clear that this was not merely a diplomatic overture, but a deliberate and strategic revitalization of bilateral relations. A relationship that, as the captain himself noted, had unfortunately faded a lot after the passing of Thomas Sankara. Now, however, a new chapter was being written, and with the reestablishment of the embassy, the gears of cooperation were turning with renewed vigor. The relationship is going very well, Captain Traoré stated with confident assurance, highlighting that for the past 2 years now, things have started off very well between us. This wasn't just vague optimism, it was grounded in concrete action. The immediate focus was on deepening cooperation in critical areas, defense and security, which is paramount for a nation facing complex challenges, but equally vital were education and later on in trade and other areas. The strategy was clear, a staggered approach to development, allowing both nations to exchange a lot, share many experiences. Education in particular emerged as a cornerstone of this renewed partnership. Captain Traoré underscored Burkina Faso's profound desire to learn from Russia, especially in the sciences. He detailed the specific fields of interest, mathematics, physics, and chemistry, not merely for academic pursuit, but for their direct application in national development. These sciences, he explained, are crucial both for the development of our military industry and for the commercial development of our country, the economic development of our country. The vision was holistic, building a robust, self-reliant nation through knowledge transfer. He spoke enthusiastically of the many Burkina students already studying in Russian universities, a number he actively sought to increase through scholarships, both Russian-funded and Burkina-funded. The ultimate ambition, however, was even grander, to establish similar universities in Burkina Faso, leveraging existing initiatives like the House of Russia to accelerate this vital process. His recent fruitful discussions with the Russian Minister of Education and university presidents, particularly involving AES students, further solidified this commitment. The discussion then moved to the heart of Burkina Faso's economic transformation. While acknowledging the impressive tenfold increase in trade volume within a year, Captain Traoré addressed the perceived paradox of this not yet matching the level of political dialogue. He explained that this was just the beginning, a reignition of trade routes that had been dormant. He cited concrete examples. Mangoes, once routed through European countries, now traded directly between Burkina and Russian operators. Cotton, sesame, and other agricultural products were set to follow, promising exponential growth. Captain Traoré then laid out his ambitious economic vision and the courageous reforms underway. Gold, historically the main export, was being complemented by a radical shift towards agriculture. The agricultural offensive, launched last year, was designed for dual purposes, achieving self-sufficiency and boosting foreign trade and export. This involved groundbreaking initiatives like plowing farmers' fields for free and acquiring tractors to increase cultivated areas. Water management, through the newly created ONBEA structure, was also a key focus, aiming for multiple harvests annually. Beyond agriculture, the mining sector was being revitalized, with Burkina Faso actively acquiring and developing its own mines, utilizing local engineers to build necessary machinery. The ultimate goal was industrialization, processing products locally to prevent the export of raw materials. This integrated approach across agriculture, mining, and industry was designed to achieve very strong growth. Crucially, Captain Traoré emphasized the indispensable role Russia could play in these transformative reforms. Of course, a lot of support, he affirmed. He highlighted technical and vocational training as a fundamental contribution, essential for maintaining and running the new industries. Russia's assistance in training technicians and engineers was vital, not just for maintenance, but for creating Burkina Faso's own industrial units. In trade, too, the prospects were boundless. There is no reason why we can't deepen all of this, he concluded, painting a picture of a partnership built on mutual benefit, knowledge transfer, and a shared vision for a self-reliant and prosperous Burkina Faso.
As the conversation with Captain Ibrahim Traoré delved deeper into the realities facing Burkina Faso, the focus inevitably shifted to the most pressing challenge, security. The interviewer, keenly aware of the ongoing struggles, posed the direct question about the current security situation in the country and, by extension, the wider region. Captain Traoré's response was characteristically frank and resolute. "The situation is secure in any case," he began. "We are trying to make progress on the battlefields, and that's the first thing." He acknowledged the complexities, noting that while significant strides had been made, reclaiming and pacifying many areas from 2023 to the present, the enemy was also adapting and strengthening. A crucial point of clarification emerged as Captain Traoré elaborated on the nature of this evolving threat. He revealed a disturbing truth. The ranks of the terrorists were being reinforced by many foreign fighters who come from elsewhere, who are not actually, when I look at the case of Burkina, there are many criminals who are in Burkina but who are not Burkinabe. More alarmingly, he spoke of trainers who come from many countries to teach them a lot of techniques. This wasn't just localized insurgency, it was a sophisticated, externally supported operation. With a powerful shift in tone, Captain Traoré cut through the conventional narrative, declaring, "This isn't terrorism, it's imperialism." He laid bare the true agenda behind the insecurity. Their goal is to keep us in a state of permanent war so that we can't develop and so that they can continue to plunder our resources. This was a direct accusation, highlighting how external forces had a vested interest in perpetuating instability. He detailed the insidious methods employed by these imperialist actors, bringing in specialists in mines to lay various types of mines and specialists in explosives. Even more chillingly, he revealed that today, the terrorists are using drones to fight, and everything it's professionals from certain countries who come to teach them all of this. This sophisticated level of support, he argued, was designed solely to keep us in a state of insecurity. Yet his resolve remained unshaken. "We are aware of this, we adapt each time to their methods of operation, and we will continue the fight until we have reclaimed the entire Sahel." When pressed to name the specific countries funding these fighters, Captain Traoré's response was sweeping yet pointed. All the imperialist countries are funding these fighters. He acknowledged the difficulty in naming them all, noting that some are even hidden ones you wouldn't imagine, while others are not hiding and openly declare it. He then referenced the recent scandal involving support for terrorism in Mali, expressing deep disappointment. "It's unfortunate," he lamented, "that they had openly declared that they support the terrorists." He further asserted that we have also clearly noticed through a number of technologies that the terrorists have acquired that these come from them. Despite this grave betrayal, Captain Traoré's spirit remained defiant. "We do not feel sorry for ourselves. We have taken stock of the situation, we will adapt, we will fight them, and they will not be able to win. That is what matters most to me." The conversation then touched on humanitarian cooperation, specifically with Russia. While acknowledging good progress in areas like health services for displaced people, Captain Traoré reiterated Burkina Faso's unwavering commitment to self-reliance. He recalled Russia's wheat donation in 2023, but emphasized a promise made to President Putin. "We no longer wish to be supplied with wheat because we are going to produce our own wheat." This was not a rejection of aid, but a powerful declaration of intent. "I am keeping that promise because we have started producing our own wheat in sufficient quantities to meet our needs." This commitment to self-sufficiency underscored a broader philosophy. Cooperation should empower development, not foster dependency.
The conversation with Captain Ibrahim Traoré, having firmly established Burkina Faso's commitment to self-reliance and its clear-eyed view of security challenges, naturally broadened to the intricate dance of global geopolitics. In a world characterized by constant flux and what he candidly termed madness, Captain Traoré emphasized the absolute necessity for nations like Burkina Faso to stay alert and be able to adapt at any moment. This adaptability was crucial in navigating the economic battles raging almost everywhere, particularly the tariff wars between global giants. He pointed to Burkina Faso's unhindered trade with China, a relationship where goods flow freely in both directions, and Chinese companies continue to establish themselves, despite attempts by some to disparage Burkina Faso. The same, he noted, held true for Russia. This pragmatic approach underscored a fundamental principle. All the countries that are currently fighting for their economic independence, we are trying to collaborate more closely with these countries because this is a form of oppression by imperialism. His message was clear. It is necessary for those who are oppressed to unite in order to confront this hegemony.
The discussion then took a somber turn, as the interviewer raised the recent deterioration of relations with Algeria. Captain Traoré addressed the incident with a drone shot down at the Algerian border with deep regret, calling it unfortunate and regrettable. His words were firm, devoid of diplomatic platitudes. It must be said clearly, this is not friendly. It's not friendly because you don't just shoot down an aircraft like that when everyone knows the protocol. He meticulously outlined the established diplomatic procedures for identifying and handling airspace incursions, using radars, contacting embassies, engaging defense attachés, all mechanisms designed to prevent such a drastic and deliberate unfriendly act. He even cited Burkina Faso's own experience with American reconnaissance aircraft entering their territory, which were handled through diplomatic channels rather than immediate engagement. Despite the gravity of the incident, he confirmed that the door to dialogue was not closed, stressing that leaders really have absolutely no choice but to unite together side by side in the face of this so-called terrorism circumstance or situation, because it's a rather complex phenomenon. He recalled the painful lesson from 2012, when Burkina Faso observed Mali's struggles, only to see the manipulated criminals turn against them. Everyone needs to understand that we must unite to face this, he declared. There is no possible negotiation with these people. This call for unity seamlessly led to the progress of the Alliance of Sahel states. Captain Traoré reported that the integration was going well, it's progressing. He acknowledged the complexities of forming a confederation, emphasizing the need to avoid rushing and ensuring things are done properly. We are moving forward gradually, he explained, highlighting the necessity of putting many structures in place and harmonizing standards across the three countries, given their varying economic and military levels. The process involved numerous meetings and the development of essential documents, such as a single security document for travel. A key aspect of this sovereignty drive, the creation of a currency specific to the AES, was definitely still on the agenda, an imperative step towards true economic independence. While the AES aimed for future expansion, Captain Traoré stressed the immediate priority of internal harmonization before inviting new members, though he confirmed that there are countries that are interested. Perhaps the most impassioned part of the interview came when Captain Traoré addressed the decline of French influence in the region. His explanation was direct and uncompromising. I think they themselves have contributed to the decline of their influence because they have a paternalistic view of our relations. He expressed frustration at the constant attribution of African initiatives to Russian influence, a narrative that implies Africans are incapable of developing anything, incapable of inventing, innovating, or taking initiatives. This, he asserted, was the very attitude they were fighting against. As long as they keep seeing Africans this way, as subhuman, incapable of thinking, incapable of innovating or inventing, we can never be friends. He called for a fundamental change in their language and their perception of black people, deeming their current attitude dangerous. He provided concrete examples of this condescending attitude, pointing to speeches by the French president and the consistent lies spread by Western media. He decried their relentless attempts to divide, to manipulate the youth, but confidently stated, "It doesn't work anymore. I think people are quite aware now. People have their eyes open." He passionately challenged the distorted historical narratives, particularly concerning the Second World War, where through communication they managed to rewrite history. He spoke of the painful truth of African grandparents being used as cannon fodder and then killed on their return, or being placed in the blast radius of atomic bomb tests. All of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. He urged this as a critical fight for historical truth and an awakened African consciousness. As the compelling conversation with Captain Ibrahim Traoré drew to a close, the focus shifted from the challenges of the present to the boundless possibilities of the future. The interviewer sought to end on a positive note, inquiring about the prospects for relations between Russia and Burkina Faso. Captain Traoré's response was infused with the same pragmatic optimism that had characterized his entire discourse. "There are many prospects ahead," he affirmed, drawing a direct link back to his initial impressions of the May 9th parade. The military cooperation, while currently focused on equipment acquisition, held a much grander vision. We need to develop the military industry, for example, and Russia can contribute a lot. This wasn't merely about buying arms, it was about building the capacity to produce them, a true marker of national sovereignty. Beyond the military, the captain highlighted the immense potential for scientific and technical collaboration. He spoke of Russia's wealth of scientists, many scholars, citing his recent visit to Mandel University as proof. This intellectual capital, he believed, could provide crucial support in training Burkina Faso talent. In our country, he explained, we have young talents, geniuses, who manage to create things, but they lack the mathematical input, the science to be able to improve what they do. Russia, with its strong scientific tradition, could bridge this gap, fostering a new generation of innovators. This collaboration would be transformative, impacting not just the military front, but also the industrial sector, recognizing that it is machines that make the world go round. Furthermore, in the rapidly evolving landscape of IT networks, telecommunications, and so on, Russia's collaboration was already significant, promising a future where all these prospects are being prioritized so that we can achieve a definite goal that we desire. The discussion then turned to the critical role of media in this ongoing struggle for self-determination and truth. Captain Traoré expressed a profound expectation for independent African media to really help us a lot. He lamented the unfortunate reality that even our own media, there are some that are actually imperialist media, merely echoing the narratives of European outlets. He spoke with visible disappointment about African media outlets that fight against regimes like ours and spend their time repeating the same nonsense that Western media spread. For him, such behavior was shameful, a betrayal of their own people. He acknowledged the positive shift occurring in Burkina Faso, where many media outlets are supporting the movement, helping to raise awareness among young people through debates and so on. This was the true purpose of media, to enlighten, to empower, and to counter the pervasive misinformation. He directly challenged the interviewer's own media to play a very important role, reiterating his powerful message from St. Petersburg in 2023. Russia helped save the world. Africa helped save the world. It needs to be said. Young people need to understand this. Captain Traoré passionately decried the false narratives perpetuated by Hollywood and distorted histories like that of the Vietnam War. He spoke of the discomfort his outspokenness caused those who wished him to keep quiet so that they can speak and their version gets through. His deepest regret, he confessed, was having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like RFI and France 24, only to realize later that they were conditioning our minds to accept whatever they wanted. This personal awakening fueled his fervent call for a collective consciousness. He implored the media to do a lot to help awaken the consciousness of young people so that people understand how the world works and don't let themselves get carried away by those people. Your Excellency, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, thank you very much for this incredibly interesting and enriching discussion. Your insights have illuminated the path forward for Burkina Faso and indeed for Africa. And to you, our cherished families, thank you so much for listening and watching up to this stage. We sincerely hope you have taken one or two things from this profound conversation. In a world awash with information, and sadly misinformation, the ability to add 1 and 2 together, or rather 2 and 2 together, to discern truth from falsehood is more vital than ever. This is precisely what is unfolding before our eyes, and many of you, our families, are keenly aware of all that is going on. Yes, we will add this powerful interview to the documentary we are making here. God bless you all. May all your dreams and wishes come true. And concerning the misinformations and the rest, no one can truly stop that. It will only intensify. What is left with us is also to try and put the truth out there. That's all I can say. Thank you, my families. Credit to Fry Africa. Thank you so much for receiving our Captain Ibrahim Traoré in your country and looking after him until he gets back to his own soil, to his people. So we thank you. We thank Russia, China, and all other countries that are helping these three countries to stand on their feet, including Turkey as well. Families, I will leave you here. Thank you so much, and I'll try if I can speak in Russian to thank them. Thank you. I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day. Like it, share it if you like what you hear, and don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments below.